When I came here in the European Parliament as a member, I was thinking that one person can change the system. And yes, this is possible when you work on certain legislations.
I was also excited here. I thought that I can change the world with becoming a member of the European Parliament, but I don't think we have a lot of power. We are 1 in 720, so it's very difficult to change things. You have passed, I know, in media. You've been a TV presenter, you did some documentaries and all this stuff. I want you to explain me basically what they did with USAID, how they used the money to buy the media.
Billions of dollars have been used manipulating public opinion by supporting major media that push certain policies. Huge funds have been given not only by the agency, but also private foundations like Soros foundations. So this, we can say, it's political corruption.
Guys, I love Elena. She's amazing. She's one of the most down-to-earth politicians here in the European Parliament. We can have a normal conversation. Sometimes it's difficult to have normal conversations here in the European Parliament.
You know, when we have different professional history, different professional path, but when I came here in the European Parliament as a member of the Parliament, I was thinking that one person can change the system. I believe that one person can have really impact, power, yes, can have a strong impact in the topics. And yes, this is possible when you work on certain legislations. But it's a long process, very long one, and it's difficult to explain to the voters, to the people who are outside this house, what we are exactly doing here and how we are doing this, what we are doing. So what is your approach? You have very unusual approach through the social media. So how do you explain to your voters what are you doing here?
So to come to your point, what you said, I was also excited here. I thought that I can change the world with becoming a member of the European Parliament, but I don't think we have a lot of power as member of the European Parliament. We are 1 in 720, and then the EU institutions are 4, and they have equal power. So it's 1 out of the 4 important institutions. So it's very difficult to change things. Maybe if you have the majority and if you influence other MEPs and you are choosing the important files to work on, maybe some MEPs have some real power. But I think overall it's difficult to achieve change. But yeah, my approach is also I'm trying to do legislation and all this stuff, but it's difficult because I am independent, as you became as well recently. So it's a bit more difficult. That's why I am also, my approach is to explain to everyone and to put pressure inside the European Parliament with the world. So I'm making videos. I got 2.5 billion views since the last 8 months that I was here. And I'm trying to explain to everyone in the world what is happening here in the European Parliament and to say my opinions. And I think this has some influence sometimes. I know that a lot of things change because of my videos here in the European Parliament, because it's a lot of pressure when you get millions of views.
Yes, but what do your followers expect from you? How do you get this feedback, and what is your impact after that here in the Parliament?
Well, to be honest, my followers, they don't know what to expect because they don't know how the institutions work and what can be done. So that's why it needs a bit education on our side as members to educate the public what you should expect from a member, because we are not Spider-Man here. We cannot change the world. So we need the right education to the people. So I'm in this process. The people, for my voters, expect transparency, for me to show them exactly what I'm doing and what is happening here. I think this is what they expect. And hopefully I can help Cyprus about our ethnic problem that we have. We are divided. It's been 50 years since the Turkish invasion.
And how do you explain the rise of social influencers, the political influencers, because you're political influencers? Maybe it's because traditional politicians are becoming distant, quite distant from the people, especially in societies with great inequalities.
Well, you have passed, I know, in media. You've been a TV presenter, you did some documentaries and all this stuff. So we have a similar background on this, because I am also in this social media, being a presenter in a way online. So this helps a lot to understand how you really connect with the people. So social media is very important because, the world is changing. I am 24 years old. I have no previous political background, and I was the most voted person in the entire country on the European elections. This is crazy. It never happened before. I tell them that I don't know about politics, but I will learn. I did this only with the help of social media. And the social media gives power to everyone, not only to political parties, to everyone to stand out, put their voice out, and to get elected. So the world is changing, and I'm happy that we're in the cutting edge of this social media, and I'm excited to see where things will go. But it's a lot more freedom when you don't depend only on TV channels and news media to have your narrative, and also you control your narrative online.
Yes, it's a big freedom, but at the same time, it's quite a big responsibility. And one of the reasons for the rise of social media is that the people trust the traditional media less and less because of the censorship, of the self-censorship, have turned many media outlets into propagandists.
Yes.
So,
and we saw this with the last elections in the United States, especially. People, the reports and the polls that they say, they trust in traditional media a lot less and less and less every day. And also this happens to all the countries, I think. The traditional media are losing trust. And this is what you are expert on, to talk about how this is influencing in your country, Bulgaria.
Yes, I agree with you, but getting information only from social media, well, it's good and it's a tendency, but also has its danger. I see two main dangers. First, people close themselves in some kind of bubbles.
Yes.
Communicate only between them with people, like-minded people, and have difficulties to accept different point of views.
I agree.
And the second danger that I see, that information is difficult to verify, to check, and many people can be manipulated.
Yes, I agree, Elena, but the problem, I think, this can happen also with traditional news. You can also see the news and stay in your bubble, and also sometimes there's no fact-checking and sometimes they're spreading misinformation, disinformation, also the news channels as well. It happened a lot of times in the past. So I'm just saying, we're humans. This is also, one system is not perfect, the other system is not perfect. But I like that both of them exist because the one checks the other in a way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And my opinion is that we should invest in quality also journalism that meets the basic criteria of journalism. For instance, to have at least 3 sources of information, or to be objective, to present different point of views. But I have the feeling that we are losing this battle. Why? Why we are losing this battle? If it's this your opinion, I don't know.
Why we're losing this battle?
Yes, why?
I don't know. You tell me. And what battle you mean? What battle?
The battle for the media that should respect the main journalistic criteria.
Okay, I don't know, but in a free market world that everyone can compete, I think now, for example, I see also independent journalism rising on social media. I see a lot of YouTubers like I was before. I see a lot of people that they're writing news on Twitter, and slowly they develop teams and they get funding, they have money to. So this, maybe we're losing it on the TV side, but also I think that other people independent are rising for the first time in human history. So I am not sure if we're losing this battle. Maybe the battle is in the beginning now. I think now is the first time that you can make a living for these last couple of years. Before you couldn't make a living online on this stuff. But now independent journalists, they are working on Twitter and they have teams. So I think it's early to say that we are losing the battle of journalists. But I agree with you, we have a lot of problems, especially
okay, we are on the
TV.
way maybe to lose or maybe to win this battle. So the American president decided to close more than 80% of the program of United States Agency for International Development. You know this,
USAID.
it was, yes, USAID, it was a very big topic.
Very big, famous.
And yes, along with useful humanitarian programs, of course, billions of dollars have been used manipulating public opinion by supporting major media outlet that push certain policies. So huge funds have been given not only by the agency but also through different private foundations like Soros foundations. So this we can say it's a political corruption. But how dangerous is this for democracy? What's your opinion, especially for Eastern Europe, for young democracies?
Because I was very excited about this topic, I want you to explain me basically what they did with the United States. So USAID. So Soros, Soros Foundation, how they used the money to buy the media in Bulgaria? How did they do it?
They're just providing funds to some media outlets, and they're completely supporting them in their work.
To control their narrative, basically.
Well, we can say this, you can say control, or direct, or help.
Okay, so we're talking about a lot of media?
Millions, billions dollars together with the United States Agency for International Development.
So this had a huge effect on the public opinion in Bulgaria?
Yes, but the public, it's not yet aware of how huge is this. That's why I was interested to know your opinion about that kind of foreign influence in your country or other country, European countries.
And why you think, you are asking me questions, but I want to keep asking, why you think the United States wanted to do this? They wanted to control the media in Bulgaria to do what? To have the right prime minister, to have good connections. Why they didn't want the Bulgaria to focus on Russia? Why? What was the motivation?
So, well, it's a really big, very big answer, but the motivation is to influence for certain policy. They could be in different fields. But yes, you're on the right path. For instance, America announced those days that are going to close media like Free Europe, Freedom, and Voice of America. And even Elon Musk said Europe is now free, we don't need those medias. But Free Europe, for instance, was created in the 50s as a part of fighting the communism. So there is a process going on, and I'm interested on your view on that. Should European medias be supported or financed by the powers who are outside the European Union?
Well, I don't like this. Why the United States to be spending billions of dollars in, like you described, in Bulgaria to control the narrative there? I don't think this is the right thing. We need to let the countries have, because if you are, whoever pays for your bills kind of owns you in a way, your opinion, he can have influence. So yeah, I don't like this. And also, but I'm happy that it's not the only source. Now, the biggest source is social media. People can have their opinion online. And slowly is shifting all of this. Maybe before it was effective what they were doing. Because if they control the TV channels, they control the country, they control the public opinion. But what about now? If they control the TV channels, we don't get only the source of our knowledge from the TV channels. So now it's not effective anymore as well. So that's why even they are doing it and they are not effective as well. They're spending billions of dollars and they are not as effective as they were.
Yeah. And and what's your ambitions in the European Parliament? For instance, I was working in a legislation related to protecting the media and journalists, the Media Act, and I managed to push through many positive texts protecting journalism from censorship, wiretapping, persecution. But I insisted also on transparency of the media ownership. That readers know who is behind a media outlet.
We need to know at least if they should be allowed to fund them, but at least we need to know who funds them, right? I think it's important not to be behind closed doors and all this stuff.
Yeah, but
transparency will solve a lot of these problems.
Yes, but what I couldn't achieve, and it wasn't accepted, I proposed it, that information about sponsors to become public. And many of my colleagues didn't accept this.
Really? Interesting. Oh, says something. So you ask me what I have similar ambitions like you have to. So I have 3-4 big passions here in the European Union. First is freedom of speech. It's very important to achieve freedom of speech because I think we generally have a lot of freedom of speech in Europe, but for example, on COVID, when it was COVID, they censored millions of posts. So I'm afraid the next crisis that we have the regulations in place, DSA and all this stuff that we have, that they will use this to censor stuff. So I'm afraid that for the future freedom of speech of Europe. So it's one of concern that another thing that I'm focusing is on peace. Peace in Ukraine, peace in Palestine and Israel. That's another major focus of mine. And the other major focus of mine, I'm in the Committee of Budgetary Control. I want to do something like Dodge in the United States to see how they spend the money in the European Union and if they spend them effectively. So I'm inside this committee and I'm trying to find some corruption or some mismanagement of the budget. So these are kind of my goals. And my ultimate goal also is to let everyone know what is happening here. Because if you go and ask in the streets, nobody knows what is happening.
So what is the best way to do this? How a video clip should look like in order to bring this information outside the European Parliament in the best way?
What you mean? What do you mean? What's the best way to?
How a video clip should look like in order to be viewed?
Well, this is what we are doing now. So we're talking very simple for everyone to understand. We're not talking with very technical terms. I think this is very important, and it needs to be transformed. And this is what we're going to do with this video, in short form content. Like when you scroll on Instagram and TikTok and all these videos. People don't sit now and watch 2 hours, 3 hours, or 40 minutes. People like to have fast information. So now from our interview that we, not interview, conversation that we did together, we're going to cut 2-3 clips that will be 2-3 minutes, and people will scroll and watch them. So you need to adapt to the world that is now. Not, and this is the world that we're living, scrolling
yeah,
on
but
TikTok.
yes. Maybe this is the reality, but sometimes I'm afraid that this fast information will become like fast food, and we are going to lose the deepness.
Well, I agree with you. I think you need also some longer form to understand, but I don't know. We need to adjust in the world because we are going to be left behind and we are going to be romantic. No, I don't like this. Let's stay with longer information. So we need to, and then everyone will not care about us. So we need to adjust in the world. I am also romantic like you. Let's have more information and all this stuff, but this is not the reality.
Yeah. Thank you, Filius. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Elena, I love you.
Thank you.
You are one of the people here that I can sit down, have a normal conversation about common sense things.
Let's continue this friendship.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. I love you.
Thank you. I love
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.